Want to support the show? How about becoming a Route 16 Grind Patreon today for as little as $1 a month? It's not just a contribution, but an investment that goes directly to the show. Help this podcast expand and grow. Check out the show notes for the links to our Patreon page. This week on the Route 16 Grind, in the Outdoor Update, Chuck shares follow-up to the Pennsylvania animal abuse case that he discussed in Episode 5. In the From the Field segment, Chuck has a conversation with 4 friends and avid outdoorsmen from Uptree Outdoors who share their hunting and fishing adventures. In the Rock, Mud, and Dirt, I will talk about soft shackles and share a few of the pros and cons if you choose to use them. In our Go Adventuring segment, I interview Byron Roberts from Zombie Crawler Jeep Club. Then Chuck and I wrap the show up with a cup of joe. Route 16 Grind, Episode 9. Polyethylene, Damn it, why can't we just say plastic?
The Route 16 Grind is sponsored by Seastate Coffee, Warren Industries, Tuffy Security Products, and Route 16 Off-Road. Welcome to the Route 16 Grind, the podcast for outdoor adventurers. Each week, we bring you information related to off-road and outdoor activities. If you wheel, hunt, fish, overland, or are an all-around adventurer, this podcast is for you. Each week, we pour a cup of Seastate coffee and talk about informative topics, the gear, and the training that can help you have a successful outdoor adventure. We have amazing contributors and some great conversation. So, grab your cup and enjoy the show. Here are your hosts, Brian and Chuck.
Brian, what's up, brother?
What's up, man? You ready for Alabama?
Yeah, about 90%. Crazy week.
Yeah, I know. It's always hard when you go on. I hate packing, first off. Anywhere I go, I hate packing and unpacking the same way. I think if I ever won the lotto, I would just have disposable clothes. I literally would be that person that would just donate everywhere I go. So, yeah.
Right now, realistically, I'm kind of I'm at the phase of packing where I'm just getting together all the small stuff. Pretty much the stuff that you know you're going to forget something and it's going to be annoying when you get there when you figure it out. But it is what it is. The important stuff's ready. The camo and the guns and the boat's ready to roll. So,
heck yeah, man. I'm excited for you. I really am. Rooting for you, brother.
Cold front's coming through after some rain on Saturday. Temperature's going to drop about 20 degrees, going to be in the mid-20s for a low. So I expect it to be pretty eventful.
I think you'll have a good time. It's weird here because we haven't had a winter, really.
Nope.
It's crazy. It is crazy. It's like we have a fall, spring going on here.
But hopefully it turns around and one more weekend of duck season after I get back. So,
yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to become a duck hunter, but we'll see. You might influence me there.
The Outdoor Update is brought to you by Tuffy Security Products. Having your vehicle broken into is not a laughing matter. Trust Tuffy Security Products to stop opportunistic thieves. Tuffy is the industry leader in automotive security and provides peace of mind when you walk away from your rig. Durable and easy to install. Tuffy Security Products has adventure-ready consoles, drawers, and lockboxes available for you to organize your rig and secure your gear. Visit TuffyProducts.com and use special offer code GRIND to save 10% on your order. Remember to lock it up.
Welcome back to the Outdoor Update, the weekly segment where we provide you with stories, news, and information from the recent goings-on in the outdoor world. This week on the Outdoor Update, I'm going to be pretty quick. I just want to give a little bit of a recap of a story that I had recently covered in episode 5. And if you remember back, I talked about an incident that had recently occurred and a video had gotten out on social media of a couple of kids that, guys in their late teens were abusing a white-tailed deer that they had shot. And I discussed how gross the video was and how they weren't hunters. They shouldn't be classified as hunters. They were animal abusers, and let's call it what it is. But so recently, charges have been brought against these teenagers, and the investigation took about 5 weeks. But now that the charges have come out, and before Before I get into those charges necessarily, I just want to read the first two paragraphs from an article about this incident in the Philadelphia Inquirer that I feel like sums up the story, and it also sums up what hunters are really about. Deer hunters aim to kill, not wound. Sometimes they have to track a deer after it's shot, following a blood trail so they can put an animal down for good. But two Jefferson County, Pennsylvania teens who wounded a white-tailed deer while rifle hunting last November took out their phones instead and recorded themselves kicking the animal in the head. The teens pulled off one of the buck's antlers and then stood on its legs. They were laughing through most of the video. The pulling off of the antler is something that I didn't really know occurred. Like I said before, I couldn't really watch the whole video. The laughing part was what I knew. But with the pulling off the antler, that takes some effort, very physical, and it kind of adds another wrinkle to the story that just makes it that much worse. But one of the good things that came out of social media was this was reported to the authorities. And Pennsylvania's Game Commission announced recently that charges had been pressed, and I'm happy to report that both of the teens are facing felony counts of aggravated animal cruelty. There are also some conspiracy charges and some misdemeanors and whatnot involved in there, but the federal felony animal cruelty charge is really what's going to get them in trouble. Their hunting rights are in jeopardy. More than likely, the punishment that's handed down is going to result in them losing at least their hunting rights in Pennsylvania, depending on Pennsylvania's laws, and with them being involved in certain programs, there is a potential for these guys to lose their hunting rights in multiple states across the country, which I'm 100% in favor of. Also, there's going to be fines. It's going to end up costing them a lot of money, but at the end of the day, it's not costing them nowhere near what it cost this animal. Their explanation was that they were trying to put the animal down. They clearly weren't. And come to find out, they can't even say if the animal lived or died or not. They left the animal alive based on the article that I read from the Inquirer, because the Game Commission tried to track the deer down using dogs. Now, it's that the last portion of that article is open to interpretation. I read it as they were trying to track the deer down in the woods. I guess they could have been on the property of trying to find the deer on the property when they brought it back. I'm not real sure, but it's one of those deals where this story right here, it's not anything remotely close to what hunters are really about. And I can promise you out there, if you're listening and you're not a hunter, us as hunters, we are celebrating these charges, and we will be celebrating when the trial concludes and these two individuals are found guilty. I hope the punishment is very heavy-handed. I really do, because this is the type of thing, and these are the type of incidents that jeopardize my future as a hunter. And I've mentioned before, because realistically, we're only a majority vote away from losing our ability to hunt in most places. So that's why we want to make sure we're doing everything on the up and up and doing it the right way.
Yeah, Chuck, I think what you started off with, and you said kids, I don't care if they were 40-year-old men, 50-year-old men. These aren't men. They are juveniles. They're children. Right. At whoever does these type of acts, you're not a man. Plain and simple. Right. Plain and simple.
And I don't want. I kind of why I started to call them teens is I didn't want to. Didn't want it to be like, oh, they're kids. They don't know any better. They know better.
They do.
They were taught how to do this by someone. They've seen something like this. Either this or either that or that. I mean, I hate to pass judgment or to kind of throw judgment their way, or they've got some real issues because the video is terrible. And they're laughing about it like it's a good time, and it's not a good time. If you shoot an animal and you take an animal's life and you take the kind of enjoyment that they took out of it and punishing this deer and torturing it, it's disgusting. And I mean, and realistically, whatever punishment comes about, I'm probably going to be on the side of it wasn't enough because of how bad the video actually was. But
I just question whether it's the first time. It's just
Right.
they know just got caught.
100%.
Just how much fun that they were having, and
100%.
And was this the only type of game? I mean, there's a lot of questions here that hunters are asking, and I'm fine with this because there needs to be that type of example. Now, I mean, there are probably some friends of mine that are probably questioning that because it's an animal and all these other things. The point is this is like what you said, this is not hunting. This is not what being a hunter's about. It puts a bad image out there. And you know what? These people are not deserving of that opportunity to experience that because they don't cherish it. So that's my opinion on it.
I mean, and realistically, with it being felonies, they are facing prison time. Will they get any based on history? Probably not. Most people don't get prison time based on game violations, but just because it's a felony, I mean, this is going to have a serious impact on their life. And I 100% think it should. And I'm with you. People are probably going to say, "Oh, it's just an animal." Da, da, da. You're a situation like this. They're impacting a whole lot more than the animal,
right?
And they're impacting other hunters. It's a bad look for one.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's totally wrong. This isn't somebody shooting a deer 10 minutes after legal shooting light, or an accident. This is 100% intentional. It's vile, and you should 100% disagree with it and want the punishment to suit the crime. I mean, whether you're a hunter or not, that's kind of how I look at it. And the whole "it's just an animal" thing, don't fly.
It's life.
Yeah, it is.
The Red Warren Badge says you're equipped to handle anything, ready to conquer any challenge that may come your way. That badge has stood for off-road excellence for more than 70 years. During that time, we haven't stopped innovating or striving for perfection. Be ready. Be prepared. Go Warren.
When you hear the calls, we got a report from the field. And this week on our From the Field segment, I interview Uptree Outdoors, which is a group of friends from Colorado. These guys are eat up in the outdoor world. They're hunting, they're fishing, they're enjoying themselves. They're filming to have a good time. They're putting their stuff on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook because they enjoy doing it. But I'm gonna let them tell their story, but I highly encourage everybody to go out and give these guys a follow. They're doing something that's, I feel like, is pretty unique, and they're doing it for the right reasons.
What's going on? How you doing, bud?
Oh, pretty good, man. So I've already told the listeners a little bit about y'all in a very brief intro, but I guess why don't y'all just go around in a circle and kind of tell everybody who you are, so hopefully they get your voices down pat by the end of this thing and know who's talking about what.
Well, I'll go first, I guess. My name's Trey Ozzie, and I film and edit for Uptree, and I'm a fisherman and soon to be a hunter with these guys. And I'll pass it off to Corey here.
Yeah, my name is Corey Gannon. I've hunted damn near my whole life. I've done archery, rifle hunting, a whole lot of fishing, and just out here trying to share the experiences and the hunts that I've had. Shout out to Cody.
My name's Cody Coleman. I'm the only one in the bunch who's not a Colorado native. I'm originally from Wisconsin up north. I grew up hunting deer, fishing, all that good stuff, doing some trapping with my dad. Moved up to Colorado. Corey kind of introduced me to elk hunting and took up a passion for it. Love it. I go trout fishing with Trey a bunch. It's a great time. It's fun doing some filming for him and help him edit some video when I can, what little I can do. But yeah. So anyways,
that's the crew.
Yep.
Yeah. So we got to talk last week for about an hour, and I guess it kind of worked out. We had some technical difficulties and weren't able to record, which is starting to become a common theme for my interviews. But so it really helped out. I was able to learn a little bit more about you guys because we don't know each other. We've never met. Brian reached out to y'all through Facebook. We set this thing up. I'm really glad he did now because after last week, I was like, oh, this interview is going to kill it. So I guess the first thing, how did y'all come together? Like what what's the backstory for Uptree, and like, are y'all all lifetime friends? Whose idea was this?
So,
how did this all come about?
My younger brother was in the Navy with Cody, and I got a real big relationship with Cody because our passion for hunting, and they introduced me to Trey through them, and we just started goose hunting, fishing, deer hunting all together, and we just kind of thought it would be a great idea to do something together. And Cody started the Colorado Hunt and Fish on Facebook a few years ago, and he got, what'd you get on followers for that?
It's like 7,000 followers or something on Facebook.
A really good following for it. It was an amazing idea, and we just wanted to take something more like personal forward with us, and it just kind of came together. And I feel like we all like complement each other with the hunting and fishing, and we all know different aspects of different hunting and fishing things. So
yeah, definitely. So even further back, or how I met Cody in the first place was we were in an English class together at the community college in the city that I'm from, the city that Cody moved to, Fort Collins, and we were sitting next to each other, and somehow elk hunting came up, and my dad's a big elk hunter, and Cody was just getting into it, so that kind of brought us together. And then I met Corey at his little brother's wedding like 2 years ago, and then we all started playing hockey together, and Uptree came about, and that's kind of the backstory on Uptree, really.
And y'all have been doing this since last
pretty much
fall,
we
right?
started Uptree like officially at like the end of August.
Yep.
Oh, so right around right when it's getting going.
Oh, yeah.
Especially out your way.
We kind of figured it might be a good time to start right before elk season.
Well, I mean, so now, Trey, did you have a filming background or something, or did you get like the short end of the stick? And was
Actually,
like, hey,
I've been making short films and, just skateboarding, doing dumb stuff with my friends and whatnot since I was a kid. So I've always had a background, and in high school and stuff, I took videography classes, and I've always had a passion for film, just never took it to the level that I am now. Not that it's that amazing of a level, but I'm trying to step it up, and I just really enjoy doing it. So I kind of got that role with Uptree.
Well, I mean, like I said, I watched all the videos since talking to y'all, and on the YouTube channel, like I told you earlier, right before we got on, they're spot on. They're short, but they're to the point, and they get the whole message across. And you can really tell what you guys what you're doing and what you're into. The one that you just did from yesterday, you were ice fishing. So now I want to know, how big was the bass
32 inches.
in the video?
Yeah, minus 29. No. We did not measure it or weigh it, but I would say it was between 4 and 5 pounds, around a little bit over 20 inches. But to say the least, it barely fit through that 8-inch hole that we had. So
yeah.
He definitely
he
did.
filled the hole
I
up.
wish we got the fight on camera. I actually wasn't expecting that at all. It was our first fish of the day, and I was just sitting there with the little fly that I tied the night before, messing around, and it ended up being a sweet fight and an even better picture and release.
It had that little panfish ice rod bent right over.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. My
Ripping out
2.5 foot rod was completely bent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was, y'all had a pretty quick turnaround because you posted the picture. That was just the
so
day
we
before.
posted that picture. I think I posted that the day of, so Sunday. And then I started putting together the video last night and finished it this evening. So
yeah, it's solid. And we'll go over everything in the end, give everybody all your contact info as far as social media for your Facebooks and your Instagram plus YouTube, though, because I think a lot of people that are listening would be really interested in that. Plus, it's not so long that you lose people's
when I'm not
span.
making films or fishing, I'm watching fishing films. That's basically all I do in my free time. So I kind of, as a viewer, I'm coming at it at that perspective to try and make it what I want to see or what I would look for in a video. And some stuff gets dragged along too far, and I like to keep it short.
Right. So now this Nebraska hunt y'all just got back from, who was on that?
That was Cody and our buddy Bryce and Seth.
We took a trip out there.
Now, how did that go?
Our buddy Seth, his family owns a bunch of land out there. It's where his family's originally from. Great. It's prime mule deer. There's some whitetail running around out there, pheasant, quail, turkey. It was a blast. It was our buddy Seth's first hunt. I was listening to your guys' episode 8, and you were talking to one of your buddies who just got into hunting there through that program you guys have. And it kind of reminded me of that. He came to us. He's like, man, I'd really like to get into deer hunting and try to get my own meat, live off the land in a way. And so like, let's do it. Let's go to your land out in Nebraska and try to get it done. And picked up a tag. He got a deer tag. Our buddy Bryce got a deer tag. I ended up just getting my upland game license to shoot pheasants and quail. And because you can get 2 deer tags with your one license in Nebraska. So figured a couple days out there, hard time filling more than 4 deer tags. So I would just hunt the birds. But we went out there and we gave it. We went hard for about 2 days there, and we seen some deer, but they were just getting spooked real easy. And then we were walking this ridge line, and we noticed that there were about 24 deer bedded down in this big bowl. So we snuck up in there, and buddy Seth put a sweet shot on a doe, dropped it right there. A good neck shot, pretty good shot. Dropped her in tracks, doesn't ruin much meat or anything. And buddy Bryce had a doe kick up.
I used to be a big fan of the
it's a good shot. You're not ruining much meat, and it ends it right there. It's a quick, clean kill. And
no drops.
Then our buddy Bryce, he another doe kicked up. She stood right there, and he put a great heart shot on her, and she ran about 30 yards and dropped, and it was awesome. We got him cleaned up. I was showing our buddy Seth how to skin them and butcher them up and all that, and it was a blast. He had a great time. I mean, it's fun. Real passion for that kind of stuff, and great trip.
Well, it's crazy to me, and I know we talked about it on episode 8 with my buddy, but all these people that are getting into hunting doing it because of the sustainability aspect of it. And it was something I'd never really thought about. I guess it was just kind of always like second nature of course I'm going to eat it, but just so many other reasons going into it,
Yeah. I mean, it's.
So now do y'all go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to agree. I mean, the sustainability portion of it's awesome. Getting your own meat off the land and eating what you work so hard for is awesome.
It's the best part, man.
It's the best part.
Right. Oh yeah. Now, do y'all travel a lot to do hunting, or y'all stay pretty local to Colorado, or is it just kind of depend?
Taking a couple trips. Cody speaking here, I went to Washington State last year for elk. We've gone up to Wyoming fishing, Nebraska hunting. We took a trip out to Wisconsin deer hunting 2 winters ago. I mean, we get around a little bit. For the most part, we're local, I would say.
Yeah. I try to go hog hunting every year in Texas.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we get around quite a bit. I try and fish in
as many
places as possible, but of course I fish my home waters more than anything, and these guys hunt Area 7 like it's no tomorrow. So
yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of like North Carolina. Y'all got so much to do just within Colorado. I know. I mean, like I'm going to Alabama Friday, but the only reason I'm going to Alabama is because deer season's out here in North Carolina. But it's like, man, me and my wife are just talking about like going on vacation, and I'm like, man, it's tough to leave the state when there's so much I hadn't seen anywhere,
right.
And so many things I want to do. But the traveling thing is definitely a bug that I've caught over the past, really this year, pretty good, but it's something we always talked about doing. But yeah, this year so far it's been Kentucky and Alabama for me. Only chasing those poor little whitetails though. No big elk like you guys.
Get on out here.
We're going to try to get 3 states this coming archery season. I got Wyoming, Colorado this year, and then we really want to try to get out there to Oregon with one of our buddies that we met from last year and hunt Roosevelt's out there.
Now the Rosies is a whole different animal, man. That's quite a large elk.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Body wise, at least.
Yeah. He was telling of us stories of packing out those elk, and I can only imagine.
You're getting like 200 more pounds. Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Huge.
The bodies
I
of them
don't
are
even know the
ridiculous.
difference. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Big old elk out there.
That's cool.
All right. Well, we're back after a little bit of technical difficulty. I'm not really sure where this cut out, and I won't figure it out till we go back and listen to it. But I lost connection during the recording somewhere in the middle of Roosevelt elk. So y'all are going to hunt Roosevelts, or wanting to?
Want to real bad.
Who is it that you're going with?
Cody's buddy from the Navy, Justin Ford, introduced us to his buddy Justin, who lives in Oregon, and
Justin squared.
Yeah, Justin
J2.
squared.
Right.
And we had a pretty good hunt up there north of Walden or south of Walden this year, and he was telling us all the land he has access to do. And we really want to try and get a Roosevelt elk this year. So me and Cody are going to try and get out there this year.
Is that for rifle?
Archery.
Oh,
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What half? Like the back half, or what?
The seasons overlap, so it'll actually be earlier than the Colorado elk season.
Okay.
So I'd like to try to get out there for the first 2 weeks of their archery season, and then get back here for our archery season in Colorado.
So now y'all are going to be out there in the thick stuff in Oregon, huh?
Yeah,
thick,
steep stuff. Gnarly
Welcome to the southeast, where everything's a briar thicket. God, I get jealous when I'm looking and I'm watching YouTube videos, and they're like, "There's a deer 7 miles away."
Oh yeah,
must
Go to
be
Wyoming,
nice,
man. There's no
that's
trees.
all it is. Us archery hunting up here, like we hunt really deep, dark timber up, anywhere from 8,000 to 10,000 feet, and
right?
It is some thick stuff.
That's some of the thickest timber I ever saw when Corey took me up to elk camp for the first time right after I broke my ankle. We can get into that story later. Yeah, he was taking me up there, and like even just driving down the dirt roads to get into where their camp was, I'm like, holy crap, man. This is thick. Like you cannot see it. There's a bear standing behind you. You would not see him.
Now, I guess, do y'all discriminate against weapons? Is it y'all bow hunters only, rifle hunters only? Don't care.
We don't care. We hunt with whatever season, whatever animal. It's all about getting the game and having a good time doing it.
Right. Can't fault you there. So now, when y'all are hunting that timber, I'm assuming is that during September?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So you're catching them there, and they're running around bugling and everything, going crazy.
Yes, sir.
Makes the archery shot a little difficult.
Yeah. We've had a lot of really good shots and a lot of really bad shots in archery season, but you kind of just take what you can get.
That's everybody.
And then add in the adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
Screaming bull at 20 yards. Yeah, I have yet to experience this.
A few years ago, I went out with Cody just right outside of Fort Collins, and I called in one bull just below him, and he never got a shot on him. And as I was calling for him, I threw my bow down on a bush next to me, and 30 yards behind me, a bull came in right next to me, and I didn't have the shot at all. And then that one spooked out. And then all of a sudden, a huge, he was at least a 6x6, 7x7, came up out of the bottom right up on Cody, like 30 yards. I mean, sometimes we have some crazy encounters.
Yeah. Well, I know how turkeys get me going, and I couldn't imagine if the turkey was 1,000 pounds and a couple 100 inches of antler hanging off his head. So I'm ready to get out there. Like I told y'all last week, Montana this fall. Fingers crossed, it's finally going to work out. That is, if the guy I'm going with, he'll probably draw some bighorn sheep tag or something, and I'll get stuck on the sideline again. But yeah, so Trey,
blast, man. It'll be a blast.
Yeah.
The question for Trey: why don't you hunt?
I've been hunting quite a few times, and I didn't get my hunter safety until a year ago.
So hold on a second. Do I need to edit that part out?
I know, it's embarrassing. But, I mean, I've always been a
or illegal.
Man.
I'm curious about that part of it.
It might be illegal. Well, no, I've been on hunts, let's say. Let me rephrase my words there. I've never shot anything with a rifle or a bow.
Like he's gone with
big game or birds.
Like
yeah, I've gone with, and like I used to archery hunt with my dad and go with him, and I've been there when he's shot cows with the rifle and stuff like that, and like gutted them and everything in the field, but never like actually myself went out and done it. So
right,
it's a new experience for me, but I'm mainly just like a fly fisherman.
Well, I understand that's the fly fishing bug just got me, so I got pretty addicted to it last year, especially right up until deer season came in. I was itching to go, and then pretty much all of deer season I was like, I can't wait till January so I can go fly fishing. But that was because my fall was miserable. A lot of lonely days in the tree staring at squirrels.
Oh yeah,
I'll bet.
So. Now, is that something y'all have any experience with, like tree stand hunting for whitetails? I guess being from Wisconsin.
Yeah. I mean, that's how we did it growing up for archery. I mean,
right.
We had tree stands and had ground blinds. I mean, there was some stuff where we would go just kind of mosey through the woods and try to do a little spot and stock, but how thick it is and all that. I mean, tree stands. We'd build tree stands and ground blinds, and that's how we did it. For bow, and then rifle, we had some tree stands, and we also did stuff like drives where we'd have people pushing out the woods to people kind of standing on the edge, and stuff like that. But yeah, it's
like a way different way
than here.
Yeah, way different.
Yeah,
totally opposite.
Anything I've ever heard of, because I'm from here and pretty much have stayed here my whole life. And I mean, I don't really hunt, but from what I've heard, that's a lot different.
Yeah, more in Colorado area. You go to a top vantage of somewhere and you can see miles because it's not so thick. Mm-hmm. And you try and spot and stock, especially for deer. Yeah, elk's not so much. It's more of get to a spot or call, but
a lot of scouting.
Yeah, definitely a lot of scouting before season. That's
trying to locate bulls.
Yeah. That's how you're successful with elk for sure.
Yeah. No, the tree stand hunting, I mean, honestly, it can get downright miserable. And we got a couple spots here in the mountains that have some balds to where it's not the alpine like what y'all are hunting in those subalpine areas and all those transition zones. It's essentially spots where they clear cut to where it just stayed cow pasture. But when I get an opportunity to go hunt those, it's difficult for me not to essentially try to spot and stalk the whole time I'm there, just because it's something that breaks up the monotony of sitting in a tree stand going, well, I hope he walks by this circle sometime today.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. And it'd be difficult. I see some people that even are elk hunting now from a tree stand. And I'm like, yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah.
So,
there's someone that I grew up since I was 10 hunting elk with my dad, and never once have we sat in a tree stand. It's always spot and stock or going through the woods, calling. It's like always on the move. And that's how we've been super successful for a lot of years.
Now, I was watching one of the YouTube videos, the one shot, one kill.
Yeah.
That was last fall, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
That was September or October this year.
Yep.
So how did that go down?
So that was me and my older brother Sean. I hunt archery every year, and every first rifle season, I go down to Pacosa Springs, Colorado. That's where my brother Sean lives, and him and my eldest brother Ryan, we go down there. It's been our third year in a row now, and the mountains up there are ridiculous. The hiking is insane. Nothing but like 12 to 14 mountains. And last year, what was it? Yeah, last year, opening morning, Sean shot, I don't know if you saw it on our Instagram, Sean shot one 5-point opening morning last year. And
oh, that was him.
Yeah, that was the same guy.
Okay.
And then this year, opening day in the evening, we hiked down into this little bowl, and we were sitting down, hanging out. I said, all right, you sit right here. And Sean, my older brother, he's never been much of a hunter, us growing up, but he really got into it in his 20s. So I've been trying to teach him a lot. And that's my rifle that he was using. And I told him, I was like, sit right here. Let's just hang out. Let's just hang out for a little bit, and something's going to come right into this opening. And we're sitting there bullshitting for probably 15, 20 minutes. And then his eyes lit up, and he was like, I see something coming in here. I was like, what is it? I think it's a bull. I was like, well, shoot it. And
Man, it never works out like that, though. At least for me.
It worked out great for us, man.
And you had your camera
that's
right
killer.
on him too. It was cool, like editing that footage too, because I got to see like all the raw footage, them just sitting there hanging out, and then a bull literally just walks right in front of them. Boom, perfectly. Yeah, it was great.
I told him to listen to me. I said, sit right here, and the bull's going to walk in front of you. And it did.
I would still be sitting there, waiting, watching that open.
Like, another one's coming. I swear to
Any minute, he's going to be
right
here.
in the same spot.
It's coming. It's coming.
There's a reason I got 50 pounds of elk sausage sitting in my freezer, because I put them on the spot.
Yeah. Well, it's like whenever I'm set up deer hunting, I'm like, okay, they're going to come down this trail. They never come down that trail. They come from behind me, in front of you, the complete opposite direction of where they should be coming from. So, yeah, that's awesome for it to work out like that, man. That's great. So I noticed in one of the videos, he's not the part-time hunter though, right? Because y'all got a part-time hunter on the
part-timer is Kyle or Cody.
Part-timer is my younger brother.
Corey's little brother, Kyle. I hope he listens to this.
Part-timer.
Yeah, well, I saw that. I don't know. I hate to ask this. Every time I ask y'all about somebody, y'all have no clue who it is, which I don't understand how you have a YouTube channel and don't know who half these people are. Born and raised outdoors.
Never heard of him.
Yep.
Not joking.
Jeez Louise.
I know. Yeah, we know. We know.
I don't.
Okay. I was getting ready to say this. I give up. Oh, man. So with their guy, they got part-time hunter. And I feel terrible now because my mind just went blank on his real name.
Just call
Wesley.
him Rick.
Ty. Rick. Yeah, no, Wes. He's their part-time hunter. So when I saw that, I was like, oh.
They're copying.
So that's cool, though, man.
That'd be stupid. I didn't even know about that.
I didn't either.
Well,
but that's cool. That I mean, y'all are involving everybody in the Uptree adventures, not just your little circle. Well, I guess it's your circle. Y'all just got it. It's a little bit bigger.
It's more of a triangle that merges into circle sometimes.
Little appearances here and there, you know.
Cody, Corey, and I are the main uptreers that are usually filming or going out, but the other guys do go out and hunt and fish and everything too, so we like to incorporate them. They're our good friends, so we like to give them an uptree title of some sort.
That works, man. Make them feel special. Throw them in the credits.
Yeah, they're definitely special.
Oh, that's good, man. So now this with Uptree and like everything that you guys are doing, I mean, realistically, what's your goal? I know we talked about that a little bit last week, and I kind of cut y'all off because I didn't want to get into too many details, but like, where do y'all see this going forward?
Like I was saying before last week, as far as right now, we're trying to keep it pretty casual. We're just doing it because we love it. And if opportunities rise, we'll take them. But we're not seeking anything other than just putting out our content, having fun with it, hopefully getting people to get outdoors and experience some of the same stuff we are. And I think a lot of people don't realize, like, even in Fort Collins, how like close to the outdoors you can get just out of your backyard. Like, we try and portray all that in our videos and posts and whatever. We just want other people to get out. We want our friends to get out and enjoy the same stuff we are.
Right. Well, like you brought up, like being so close to the outdoors in Fort Collins, like the ice fishing video.
Yeah, that's literally like in the center of our town.
Really?
Yeah, that is. That's in the center of our town, and we have the Poudre River running through our town too, which I fish multiple times a week, and there's big trout in there. And some people don't realize that, but some people do, and they get to experience it and enjoy it. So,
yeah, man, it's crazy to me that you can live there, river going through town, and not realize there's fish in it.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to notice if you're not into it. Like, we've got homeless people hanging out down by the river, and like, it's like, it doesn't look that great, but I mean, if you can imagine 100 years ago what it would be like out here, like right in the foothills, a river coming out of the canyon, like that's prime territory for some good trout, some good fishing. And we have tons of deer out here, even in the city, and just up into Horsetooth and stuff, a lake, a reservoir right by us. And we're pretty much in the thick of it, if you think about it. So,
yeah,
man,
like
that's awesome.
You mentioned that big deer that Cody got, what was it, 3 years ago? That was 15 minutes from, or 20 minutes from downtown Fort Collins. A couple of turkey pictures that we've got are just the same range. So, I mean, something we like to spread, that there's a lot of good hunting around here. You just got to actually get away from the city.
Right. Yeah. Anybody that wants to look at that buck that they just mentioned, it's on the Instagram page. We'll go over that later. It's about 3/4 of the way down. And to a North Carolina guy, that's a stomper. I don't care what anybody
Swamp
says.
donkey.
Swamp donkey. Hey, listen to y'all. Listen, we'll make whitetail hunters out of you yet.
We're getting North Carolina over here.
Have you grunting and rattling for bucks in no time. You come to North Carolina, we're going to have you shooting a bunch of those. What we're going to have you doing.
That'll be good, man.
Hey, 6 tags, man, $40. Be jealous.
That is insane.
I'm way jealous.
That is insane.
That's backstrapping eggs.
That's better than us for resident.
Yep, 2 Turks. I mean, we got it made, and everybody's jealous of y'all. So, but you really don't even think about it. I mean, realistically, like hunting South Carolina, you can kill 17 deer in South Carolina if you live there.
Jeez.
You got to travel a little bit.
But
you
guys have a small little elk population going, right?
Yeah, 150 is the number that people will agree. They'll agree to 150. There's more than that, I work with the Elk Foundation here in North Carolina, friends with biologists and stuff, and the agreeable number is 150.
Okay.
They've already established the rules. At least my understanding, they've established the rules to have a season. It's just a matter of when are they going to implement those rules and allow the season to happen. I don't really see it too quick, just because they want to draw most of the elk are in Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Okay. And they want to pull those elk out of the park up onto some public land that you can hunt. And the Elk Foundation's done a good job by securing the land that they want to eventually open up to elk hunting, but you can already deer hunt it and everything. But yeah, no, the population's doing really good now. The black bears really hit them on the head at first, because these elk coming in didn't really know what the heck a black bear was, or how to raise the calves of the year without a bear coming in and swooping them up. So it was easy pickings. But yeah, we got elk, man, and it's a trip to go see them. The first time I ever went up there, I'd have stood there in awe, like 75 yards from this elk, just like laying there. And he's this old broke up raghorn, probably been beat to death all year trying to chase the ladies around. But no, it was crazy.
Yeah,
so
that's super cool.
We've been back up to see him during the rut, so it's impressive.
Oh, definitely. It's got to be a pretty cool sight, seeing the Great Smokies bugling up and everything.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
Oh yeah. Well, where they winter at too is in a big valley, so it's just a big meadow. And when they get out in there, the bigger bulls are in town. Cherokee, it's the Indian reservation real close by, is where a lot of the bigger bulls are. But a big portion of the herd gets down in that valley, so you can just ride in there and check them out. And they're just out in the field sunning.
That's cool.
It's a lot of people aren't even aware of it that live here, but yeah, no, I think it's awesome that they brought them back.
Yeah, it's cool.
So, have you been to Colorado at all, Chuck?
Nope. Well, no, I lied. I just got back from Breckenridge. Everybody knows that on the podcast.
Okay.
They were going to call me out.
Did you go
I was out there.
Or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
My wife's 30th birthday. So.
Oh wait, you may have mentioned that.
Yep. Yeah, we went out snowboarding, but we backpacked Utah.
Wow, no invite.
Yeah, what the?
Yeah, well, Brian Brian was like, well, maybe you can get together with these guys and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, yeah, hey, 3 guys I've never met. You want to go to my wife's 30th birthday party?
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah,
I was snowboarding my whole life.
Let's see how mad I can make her in the next 4 days.
Do you know what's even worse than me not even hunting? Is I don't snowboard or ski either. And I grew up here my entire life. And I've been once.
Well, I've it's actually on, and y'all probably don't know who Steve Rinelli is either. Y'all live under a rock.
Oh, we know Meat Eater guy. We watched that.
But well, you don't know who a lot of other people are. But no, on his podcast this week, he actually says that you cannot ski or snowboard and be a true outdoorsman.
See, there we go. Confirmation.
Yeah.
I'm a true outdoorsman. It takes too much time and money.
That's a damn lie.
He says it takes the time away. When you could be out trapping or doing something else. He says, so unless
excuse from now
he
on.
says so unless you're skiing to go kill something, then don't do it. But that's funny.
I snowboard and snow machine 90% of the winter, and I still kill more than most.
You're outdoors, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
the snow machine.
I like him. I like Steve.
Yeah, no, yeah. They've done a lot in terms of benefiting the hunting and spreading the message and all that. And it's really nice to see somebody I'm not trying to bash somebody. It's going to come off like I'm bashing people, and it's us whitetail people that do this whole hokey, like deer hunting videos and stuff that go online. It's either all about monster bucks or it's just this, like, I mean, just Southern, we're hunting and there's no explanation to it. I guess that's really what I'm trying to say. When Steve explains it to people and Steve talks about hunting, I think it really opens a lot of people's eyes to, like, really why we're doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
most definitely.
I definitely agree with that.
Like, I like how he incorporates the like chef side of things.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part about the whole thing. Is like, this is what we killed. This is how we're going to prepare it for our family. And that's cool as hell to me.
Yeah. One of our latest posts on our Instagram was we made these jalapeno cream cheese stuffed bacon wrapped elk burgers. Like, I feel like not many people know how good wild game is.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I've made wild boar ribs. I made sage deer ribs. Like, there's so many different ways to make wild game that is way better than anything you're going to get in a supermarket.
And one of those, I mean, goose meat is a huge one that a lot of people are just like, goose is great.
I was talking to somebody the other day. Somebody I was talking to was poo-pooing on goose meat. And I'm like, I see people eating it all the time. And they're like, well, it's not that good. And I'm like, well, I'm going to find out. And if it's bad, I'll just make sausage out of it.
Right?
I mean, yeah, no, so hopefully I've got a couple more weeks. Hopefully I get my first duck.
So we usually get all of our goose meat and duck meat at the end of the season, and we make it into brats and snack sticks,
jerky
and jerky. Yeah, and it's amazing. Yeah, but also if you take a goose breast, skin it out, and just throw it on the grill with some like rosemary, butter, salt, and pepper, and just cook it medium rare. It's some of the best meat you could ever come across.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I always picked on duck hunters and geese hunters growing up, and I think I might have mentioned it last week, but I mention it all the time. Because this North Carolina, Central North Carolina, not a lot of ducks. And now, like, I'm texting a buddy of mine today when I get off work, and I'm like, hey, man, can you please take me duck hunting on the 25th since it's the last time I'll be able to go? I'm like, what have I turned into? But, no, I mean, the one thing I always see with goose is, like, people are always making goose pastrami.
Yeah, that sounds good.
For sandwiches.
I like normal pastrami.
So now what's y'all's goose season like out there? Pretty liberal limit. Y'all got a lot of resident geese? I'd imagine not, since it gets pretty cold.
I mean, we do have resident birds here that stay here year round. So we have like this weird 2-part season here. It typically opens up first-ish weekend of October, runs about 4 weeks. Then there's like this weird 3-week stoppage. And then the second season, the regular season, kind of opens up first weekend or second weekend of November. Last weekend of November, I think it is. Right around like Thanksgiving.
Until February.
And then it runs in the middle of February. Yeah. But I mean, our limit is 6 a day. 5 a day. My bad. 5 a day.
5 a day.
And I mean, there's a lot of birds. Typically, we get our migrators moving in. They'll start flying in mid-November, and in November, start flying in hard. And you get the flocks of thousands, just one after another.
Snowy day we had.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere here. Like right now,
weeks ago, we killed 14.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, we usually do pretty good. We've been doing a lot of fishing lately, and a little bit of deer hunting trips and some elk hunting trips. So we haven't gotten out goose hunting as much this season. But I mean, we've hit it a good handful of times, and we've got a lot of birds, and it's a blast. I mean, goose hunting. Talk to anybody that goose hunts they're going to tell you the same thing. It's a dangerous thing to get into. I'll tell you that right now. If you get into duck hunting or goose hunting,
you go goose hunting once, you're going to be addicted.
Next thing you know, you're going to be getting yourself a new shotgun. Like
don't even start. I know this duck hunting thing, and I feel like I've already talked about this. I talk about it so much since this crap started this January, but my wife says I have a problem because I get addicted to stuff before I ever even go, and I'd never even like step foot on the water, let alone shot at a duck, and I've already got like the plans laid out on the table for how I'm going to build a blind to put it on my boat. And she's like, "What are you doing? Like, mind your business." Yeah. I can't help it. And I had a friend of mine a long time ago. He had asked me, I didn't know the guy this well at the time, but he was like, "You duck hunt?" I was like, "No." He was like, "Don't start." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "Well, you'll have a dog and a new boat and He was like, "Just don't start. It's too expensive."
Great.
So I was
Just
like,
wait till we get you out here goose hunting. Yeah.
right. Now, so are y'all hunting fields mostly? A lot of ag?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, I mean, we got a little chunk of land up just north of town, Fort Collins, and I mean, we have a pit out there. We had a pit a couple years ago. We had a little cave-in on it, so we built a box blind above ground, and then this fall, before it started up, somebody just came to the door.
Probably not the dogs market.
We got a new pit dug and all that good stuff. And
so now explain a pit to people that don't know. I've got a good idea of what it is, but this pit.
So the pit is just a hole in the ground, really.
Right.
Like ours is, we have ours at like 6 feet deep. It's 14 feet long and 5 feet wide. And we built a box, like we framed in a box in there, 2x4s and all that. And then put up plywood, walls, and then we built a lid. And then we have, half lid, and then the other side are just on, lids on hinges, so you can just flatten them open when the birds are coming in and you're ready to shoot. Yeah. I mean, and we camo up the top, kind of brush it in. And so, I mean, when you're above ground looking at it, you can't really notice it unless you're looking hard.
Right.
I mean, the birds don't see it.
So essentially, I mean, it's a bunker. I mean,
in a way, yeah, it's a bunker.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
14 foot long.
Oh yeah,
the beer bunker.
How many people are you cramming in there?
I mean, if you're cramming people, I mean, you could probably hunt 5-6 dudes. We like our space because there's only about 4 of us that typically go out. But
14 foot, you can fit the Denver Broncos in there.
I mean, you probably could.
And the cheers going.
You could fit like 6 linemen in there. So.
Yeah. So y'all are spaced out, obviously, tongue in cheek. But yeah, I mean, you 14 foot, that gives you plenty of room, 4 or 5 guys, elbow room in there to move around. Not worried about hitting somebody in the head when you're swinging on geese and stuff. So.
Oh no, with 4 dudes like what we're normally hunting, you got room. I mean, there's a couple feet in between each of us, and you got room to lay back and kick your feet up when the birds aren't flying.
Turn on a heater, cook some breakfast.
Oh yeah.
Because that's kind of the intrigue with me with a with a blind on my boat. Do what?
What was that?
Last year I brought biscuits and gravy out to the blind.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. That's perfect. So keeps you a whole lot warmer too. Keeps the wind off of you and everything. So that's kind of my thing.
Colorado's horrible.
Yeah,
it blows here.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, right below the windiest place in the world, I think Wyoming is.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. And
so what's the temperature? What's the temperature where y'all are right now?
I think it's like 40 out right now.
No,
it's like 40.
It was like 14 degrees this morning. Oh, maybe it is.
What is it right now? Right. 39.
But this morning when I went to work at 5, it was like 14 degrees.
Yeah, our lows are in the
cold,
23 right now.
Yeah, I mean we're in a little bit of a warm stretch here right
58, now. 58, man, that's summer.
Mid 40s, but
58.
That's camping weather.
Yeah,
I'm putting some shorts on.
Shorts. Maybe a bro tank.
Yeah, we're not
sandals.
And legit for here, like this is above average, but yeah, I mean when you're talking 20, you're getting down in the teens and single digits. Heck, 5 mile an hour wind cutting across a flat field. That ain't real fun.
No,
negative.
It's horrible. Where we're at right now it's Wellington is where me and Corey live right now, and it's about 15 minutes northeast of Fort Collins. And it's basically Wyoming. It gets windy as heck out here. Like, my grill was destroyed from leaving it on my back patio. It was thrown like 20 feet into the street. So, yeah, it's bad, man. Like, it keeps you up at night. If you leave anything outdoors, it's gone.
Or frozen.
It's bad. Or frozen. Both.
I'm used to growing up in Craig steamboat area, and it records some of the coldest temperatures in the United States. We get -40, -30 pretty much every year.
Yeah, that's insane. Well, I know when we were in Breckenridge, it wasn't that bad when we first got there, but the wind was blowing. Well, then when the wind stopped, the temperature dropped like 20 degrees. I think the day we left, it was -9. And that was a feel-like temperature, obviously.
So cold.
But by the time we left, I was just kind of like, well, this isn't that bad. I've already got used to it.
Yeah.
But it was weird because we're expecting, based on what we were leaving here and getting out there, expecting it to be just like totally miserable. And don't get me wrong, it's cold. I don't want to be outside that long just walking around. But I was like, it's not as bad as I thought. I just got to wear 2 layers of long johns everywhere I go.
Yeah, basically 2 pairs of socks, man, every day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A toboggan's business casual.
Yeah, most definitely.
So, man, well, we're starting to push up on an hour here. Y'all got one more story for the road, and then we'll cover the Instagram stuff.
Is there something?
Let's hear the home run story.
Home run.
Dealer's choice. Your home run story of Uptree.
There's so many to choose from.
Kyle's elk.
Oh, that was cool. Yeah.
Kyle's elk was amazing.
Yeah, tell. Yeah.
So, I've been trying to get my little brother an elk for
part-timer.
Old part-timer.
Okay.
I think it was his 4th year, so it was 2 years ago. But it was his 4th year archery hunting, and I've been doing everything I could to call in an elk for him and get him every opportunity. And ended up being the last day morning.
Mm-hmm.
And me and our buddy Tim and Kyle were hiking up this hill. And it was about 8:30 in the morning. And got about a mile up this hill. I let out a few cow calls, and this bull answered probably 100 yards from us.
Mm-hmm.
And it was supposed to be my shot, but I turned around and I looked back at him and I was like, "Get your ass up there!" And I pointed at this aspen tree that was out in the opening. And I said, "You go put your ass right behind that aspen tree." And he's like, "Okay." So he threw his pack down, hurried up there, and I started calling, and my buddy Tim started beating some branches across the aspen tree. About 10 minutes later, I was just about to let another cow call, and Tim grabbed me by the arm and chucked me to the ground. I was like, what the hell? What is happening? And he pointed up, and I see this big old bull right in the opening, and I hear my little brother go, meow.
Uh-huh.
And right after he did that, I hear the shot. And I look around the tree and I see Kyle, and he's just flabbergasted. He didn't know what to do. It's like he had his bow in his hand. He's looking at me. He's like, I don't know. And I ran up to him. I was like, "Did you hit him? Like, what's the plan? Like, what's going on?" He's like, "I smoked him. he didn't know.
Did you believe him?
I didn't believe him.
Right. Okay. Because you never do when somebody, especially their first one, where I smoked him. I'm like, okay, you gut shot him. We'll be here all day.
Oh shit, we're fucked.
Yep. We're gonna be here all day.
So I was like, "Stay where you're at." And I was like, "I'm gonna go to where he shot him." And I walked up about 15, 16 yards up the hill from him. I was like, "This is where it is?" He's like, "Yeah, right there." And about a yard after that, I picked up his arrow, and it had bubbly blood all over it. And I was like, "This guy's done." And I walked up about 15 yards up on the top of that hill, and he died in like the most picturesque setting that you could ever see. You've seen the picture on, it's one of the posts on our Instagram.
Right.
It is thick forest all the way around of it. and just that little bald knob, he died right on the top of it. And it was amazing just because I've always, like, my goal when I'm hunting is to, like, get other people, like, a trophy, you know?
Right, yeah.
And to get my little brother something like that, it was pretty special to me, for sure.
And this was his first elk, period.
Yep, that was his first archery. It was his first archery elk. He got
archery elk.
Well, he got one rifle elk when he was probably 14 or 15. But ever since then, yeah, he's been hunting archery, and that was his first archery bull.
I mean, it's a heck of a bull, and like you said, where it died, you couldn't have picked a better spot to take a picture.
No, not at all.
And he definitely smoked him too.
Oh,
I didn't want to give it away, but he smoked him.
Yeah, it didn't go, I would say, 30 yards round trip for sure.
Right. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So now, why is he the part-time hunter? Just not into it? Does he do other stuff? I mean, I gotta know.
He works a lot, and he's married.
He's got a baby. He's got a baby on the way. Work a lot. He just had.
I was getting ready to say, one of y'all's got 3 kids, right?
Yep.
From what I heard when we get back online.
Cody's got 2 and 1 on the way.
I got 2 and 1 in the oven, due in about 2 weeks or so here. So.
Well, Cody's a full-time hunter, so Kyle, get with it, buddy.
Yeah, man, part-time.
We're trying to tell him, you know.
Oh, he's a huge elk hunter. Like he loves elk hunting.
Yeah,
right.
You know, I mean, I think that's his huge passion.
Yeah,
you know, and he does get out there every once in a while.
I think that's more than anything.
Like
he's a part-time hunter only because elk archery is his passion. You know,
right? Yeah. Well, and realistically, y'all seasons legit. Like y'all seasons are part-time seasons for the most part compared to like what I'm used to. I'm hunting deer for 4 straight months. You know, I got a gun in my hand for 2 months. I'm archery hunting for 2 months. So, I mean, if archery hunting elk is your thing, I mean, you got what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
We got a month.
About a month. We get like 4 solid weekends.
Yep.
Okay. But still, so I still a quarter of my time deer hunting. So, yeah. And when you're weekend warrioring, that's not a lot of time.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? When you break it down and you're like, oh, it took him 4 years to kill it. Or you can say, yeah, it took him like 7 Saturdays. So, yeah, no, I get it. But it doesn't change the point. Kyle, full-time hunter.
Part-timer, you better listen.
That's the goal. Full-time Kyle.
Yeah, full-time Kyle. We'll make an entire episode about that.
In 2020, that's the goal. So, well, dudes, the Instagram, the Facebook, how can people get in touch with y'all? Check out all the content.
Either or, Facebook /Uptree Outdoors, Instagram /Uptree Outdoors, and just search that on YouTube. We're all over the place, and we post frequently. We're in contact with most people that contact us, and we're just happy to share with everything. And yeah, give us a follow, give us a like.
And that's Uptree, one word.
Uptree, yep, one word, yep.
Did we cover why you're called Uptree? Because I thought y'all were a bunch of diehard whitetail hunters when I heard the name.
Well, we always have the saying, like when we're going up the mountains, you know, and you're looking at the tree line, like we're heading up tree. And I know the story stretches back a little bit more with Corey and his brother Kyle. Yeah, right. That's what I always got from it, you know. It's something we were saying, like when we're going elk hunting, we're going up tree. Going up tree, boys, you know. But
yeah, I think the origination of it was me and my buddies when I grew up in Craig was when we were going up snow machining. We were going up tree, but we kind of like
adopted it.
Yeah.
Elk hunting.
we're heading up tree hunting too. It was the same thing. So
yeah, it works for sure. Like I said, I was dead set when Brian was like, yeah, talk to these Uptree guys. I was like, all right, whitetail dudes. And then I got to looking and I was like, they've never been in a tree.
Yeah. Nope.
So
our up tree is more like heading up the hill than up a tree stand.
Yeah.
I get caught in trees a lot.
It works though, man. I like it. I saw a video of that.
Yep, that's in my intro.
I saw a video. So
it goes both ways.
There may or may not have been Jim Beam involved in that. I was about 20 feet behind our elk camp, right where we had our campers set up.
Yeah,
there was a brookie pond. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have elk hunters galore with Uptree this fall, right? Everybody Absolutely. Getting in on it, Trey.
Damn right.
Oh yeah. Damn right.
Yep. I'm gonna try and at least get a couple encounters, and if not that, then I'll definitely be filming. So
we'll get the part-timer in there too.
Expect some good footage for sure. So there's a lot to look forward to, especially this year. We've got some good goals coming for just all around quality and some content goals and whatnot. So
right. Well, y'all will be back on for sure. We didn't really get to dive into where y'all are going in the future. We got sidetracked with hunting stories, I feel like, but still it all worked out. But yeah, no, y'all are, like I told you last week when we were talking, y'all are doing it for fun. Whatever happens. You're going to keep doing the videos no matter what, because y'all enjoy doing it and it's cool. You're not putting a ton of pressure on yourself and it's enjoyable. I mean, those videos that y'all are putting out, even though they're short, it's cool. I mean, it's one of those deals. Like I watched them and I was like, oh, a minute long video. What's this going to be? And you got to be good, honestly, to make a minute long video worth watching, to be able to hit on everything. And I think y'all did on every single one of them that you've got out there. It's perfect. Not really trying to pump up your tires too much, but it really is legit, man.
That's great to hear, man. I love feedback like that. And I look forward to putting out some more and hopefully getting some more good feedback. And I think we'll know we made it when we get a couple haters. I can't wait for that moment either.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm striving for. It's a couple haters at least.
You know, I hadn't thought about it from that standpoint, but yeah, I need somebody to like run me into the ground on social media. Somebody to just bash Route 16 grind.
Right. So. Yeah, we're a bunch of hockey players, man. We chirp at everyone and they chirp at us. So.
Oh, goodness.
We love it.
Hockey.
Yeah, we love it. Yep.
I'm glad it's not cold enough here for me to know how to play hockey. Thank goodness.
It's in our blood.
But, well, anyway, guys, man, I appreciate y'all being on. Like I said, we'll have you back on. We'll dive into a little bit deeper. Maybe we'll do a quick rundown sometime in the near future of what your plans are for the fall. The one thing we didn't get to talk about was the C-State Coffee love affair that you have. But people can see that on your Instagram page. I encourage everybody to go check y'all out for real.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
It's legit, man. Instagram, Facebook, like I said, Uptree Outdoors. And y'all boys have a good rest of the evening because it's like, what, 7:30 there?
Thanks for having us on. Yeah, it's 7:33 and I got to get to bed soon. Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
It's old for it over here.
Yeah. Hey, it's 30 minutes past my bedtime. It's 9:30, so. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
This joke brought to you in part by Frank the Tank. Don't know what a Frank the Tank is? Well, then you're screwed. Hey, did you hear the one about Orion's belt? Yeah, it was a complete waste of space. Yeah, I know. It's a groaner. I give it 3 stars at the best. That's the best I can do. So be sure to send all your hate mail to Route 16 Grind. All right, guys. Love the show. I'll chat you later. I love you too, Frank. You're the best. You have a good one. Bye.
I think Nikki-G meant to say Route 16, not Route 16. We don't want no hate mail.
Yes, ROOT.
No, ROUT. Don't send me your hate mail.
Keep the jokes coming, Frank.
That was Nikki-G, man.
Nikki, my bad.
You know what's funny? Yeah, it's a long story.
He's got Frank the Tank on my brain now.
All right. Hey, Nikki-G, thanks so much, man. Love hearing from you every week, brother. Want to be on the show? Maybe share with us some interesting hunting, fishing, overlanding, wheeling, or adventuring news? Then give us a call at Route 16 Grind hotline at 888-878-3356, and maybe you will be on our next show.
In the Rock, Mud, and Dirt is brought to you by Warren Industries. At Warren, we pour our effort and our thirst for adventure into every product we make. You better believe American pride runs deep here in Clackamas, Oregon. Here, a small army of engineers, technicians, machinists, and assemblers design and refine Warren products, bringing them as close to perfection as possible. Their work is backed up by legendary quality control that doesn't just stand up to rigid Warren standards, it lives up to the toughest demands of the world's top vehicle manufacturers and military suppliers. How do we know? Because they've partnered with Warren for decades. This quest for peerless reliability, this Warren difference, will be around as long as Warren Industries is in business. At least another 70 years. Go prepared. Go Warren.
Welcome to the Rock, Mud, and Dirt. This week, I'm going to cover a popular item that is becoming more common in recovery kits. I'm talking about the lightweight, easy-to-use soft shackle. Now, if you're just a wheeler, you might think this was something that was just invented in the past decade or so. But that is not the case. Strops, grommets, and shackles made from rope were found on every sailing ship for hundreds of years. At one time, it was a required skill for sailors to have the ability to make these. A modern-day soft shackle can be made from lightweight, heavy-duty SK-75 synthetic rope with a breaking strength of 16,000 to 81,000 pounds. You might also see some SK-78, which has a less tendency to creep or permanently elongate over time under a load. But not all brands are alike. Take the engineering company Factor 55, for instance. They chose to use UHM WPE-12, or ultra-high molecular weight polyethylene 12-stranded fiber braided rope. Polyethylene. I'm going to work on that word. This is the most common plastic in the world. We're talking about the same stuff that makes grocery bags. Polyethylene 12 has a maximum strength to weight ratio that is comparable to steel wire rope. Then there's another company called Bubba Rope that you might be familiar with. They use Plasma Rope 12 for their Gator Jaw products. Plasma rope is also made from HMPE, or high module polyethylene, but this rope has been enhanced by a patented recrystallization process by Cortland, a global designer, manufacturer, and supplier of technology for advanced rope slings and strength members. Cortland and Bubba Rope consider plasma rope the highest strength synthetic rope available. Soft shackles can be found in various diameters, lengths, depending on intended application or load. TRE, or Tactical Recovery Equipment, makes a 36-inch diameter tree saver soft shackle rated to 40,000 pounds. The brands and products I mentioned are just examples. With any hot item, there are always going to be exceptions to the rule, and of course, your own personal preference. Now the cons. They can cost more than comparable steel soft shackle. They do not last as long as steel shackles. Even with abrasion guard, it can become damaged or even cut if it comes in contact with sharp edges. The pros. Once that is one single piece, easy to use, fast to employ. It's lightweight and take up minimal space. The strength to weight ratio, overall strength, is comparable to steel. The main reason I like the soft shackle over steel shackle is the same reason I like synthetic winch lines. If it breaks, there's no metal whipping back at you or sending multiple metal projectiles shooting around the area that can injure you, your rig, or someone else. Now, we would love to hear your opinion on soft shackles. Give us a call at the Route 16 hotline or just send us an email. All you got to do is go to route16.com and select contact. That's ROOTONESIX.com and select contact.
So I tell you, man, I don't use soft shackles for jeeping or overlanding or anything, but I do use them quite a bit in hunting applications, holding tree stands together, dangling climbing sticks off of them and stuff.
Good piece of gear. I wasn't really using them until about maybe a year ago. I became a huge fan. When I'm looking at space and weight, every little bit counts. The fact that they're so easy to employ, you don't have to unscrew anything, screw it back in, make sure it's in, all that kind of stuff like that. You just take the knot out, put it in, slide it, put it through, boom, you're ready to go in business. And I just do love the safety factor of it. I mean, I'm looking at all those different things. A lot of times, like I said, when you get on the trail, or said before, you get on the trail, sometime you might be the guy with the gear, but you also may be the guy with the knowledge, and you're tasking people to go do things, and you're making this assumption that they know how to apply and use something correctly sometimes. These are easy to employ. It's not rocket science. And you don't have to worry about too much. Yeah, the great piece of gear. And I think as I did the research on it, and I just found out the material was the same thing that plastic bags are made of, that was kind of interesting.
Yep.
My bags always break at the supermarket though. What's up with that?
I'm very familiar with the high density polyethylene stuff and the high modulus things. We use a lot of polyethylene in pipes and stuff at work. So.
Oh yeah, no kidding. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, whoever invented it, probably, I don't know, Dow Chemical or somebody, who knows, but they did a great job.
They got some money.
Imagine walking back to your vehicle in the parking lot and seeing glass on the ground with your door wide open. Your stomach drops and your world is turned upside down. Don't become a victim of opportunistic thieves. Be proactive and install a Tuffy. Since 1989, Tuffy Security Products has been the key to locking it up. Tuffy has adventure-ready consoles, drawers, and lockboxes available for your rig. With universal and vehicle-specific options, has something for what you drive. Organize your rig and secure your gear by visiting TuffyProducts.com today. And special offer code GRIND to save 10% on your order. That's GRIND in the special offer code box when you go to checkout at TuffyProducts.com.
Go Adventure! All right, welcome to our Go Adventure segment. This week we have a Jeeper, off-road club leader, Route 16, and Atlas 46 brand ambassador, Byron from the beautiful state of Kentucky. Byron, welcome to the Route 16 Grind podcast, brother.
Hello, Brian. I'm glad to be here.
I appreciate you being a great representative of the Route 16 brand, but for those that don't know you, why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Like you said, I'm from Kentucky. Been here my whole life. Been into Jeeps and Jeeps and off-road scene since probably I was able to drive. I've had dirt bikes, full-size Chevys. I've off-roaded them, mud runs and stuff with those. Then I got into dune buggies for a little while. Then I got to a Jeep. I bought a 98 TJ that had a 4-cylinder. I put a 2.5-inch lift under it, wheeled it quite a bit, then sold it, went back to Chevrolets, then just had to have the Jeep again. I got the Jeep itch never left me, so bought another 98 TJ, and I drove it. It was just a stock Sierra model, and drove it for probably 2 years. It had over 200,000 on it when I got rid of it. It was just a great little Jeep. Then I finally found a 14 JK I like, and I drove it, wheeled it. It had a 2-inch lift under it, and I had it about a year. Then I ended up finally found my dream Jeep, which is an LJ. I finally found an 06 LJ Rubicon. Had low miles. It's got a 4-inch lift with Curry springs. I put rock crawler arms on it. Really, it's got, once I put the rock crawler arms on it, it had some Curry parts on it. That needed some repairs. So when I ended up going with the rock crawlers, and I talked to a couple guys directly at the factory and was really satisfied with their customer service side of it. I've did a few little odds and ends, just minor changes to it. I've got the lockers wired up where I can run them independent without having to be in the 4-low on it. Then I've got a few other little odds and ends this summer and this spring that I want to do too. I'm going to change the axle shafts out, but I've got a set of chrome mollies in the front now, but I want to put a set of chrome mollies in the rear.
You mentioned something about not getting good customer support. Was that right?
Yeah, the Curry, I don't like to talk bad about any company. The Curry customer support was not the greatest. When I called them, I had some technical questions about the length of their arms and, how to tell when they need to be replaced. But when I called Rock Crawler, they were just like, talking to me and you on the phone, just like I'd been a customer the whole, all my life with them. They were great people.
And sometimes that's just a person that you're dealing with on the moment from that particular brand. I found that out. Fireman Frank, so he and I had a talk about a certain brand where I had a bad thing with them, and he's like, oh, man, they're great. So sometimes it's just really the person that day you get a hold of, not necessarily the brand as a whole.
Right.
But it's tough, and every one of those moments do matter. Putting an investment into a project, you want that type of support. So I kind of get it. And I don't feel you're talking bad about it, and they shouldn't either. It's just probably good information that they should take and realize that, hey, it might be an area we should work on. But yeah, man, what about zombie crawlers? Tell us a little about them.
Zombie crawlers, it was started in July of 18. and it's based out of Cynthiana, Kentucky, about an hour north of me. And a fellow named Tony Schick started it. Then I met him in August. Then in September, he asked me to come aboard with him. We really talked over a bunch of ideas, had some good plans for the club, and he asked me to kind of be his right-hand man then. So we've kind of taken it off this past year and running with it. We've had some pretty good success. We have a lot of good local Jeepers that come out with us on whether it's a parking lot party, as we call it, whether it's just hanging out at local car shows, or even we do a Taco Tuesday nights a lot of times when the weather's bad, and just go to Mexican restaurant and hang out and eat and talk Jeeps or whatever comes up that night. And we'll do we try to do at least one trail ride a month. We've done our first big trail ride for the group. We did a beginner's ride, and we had I believe it was 34 Jeeps show up.
Right.
And probably 20 of them had never been really off-road before. So we took them to down in the Slade area of Kentucky, the Red River Gorge area, to a few little spots that they were just to get their feet wet, that they could put their Jeep in 4-low, and a couple of little small hills. And they were just overjoyed with the excitement. It was great seeing people who had never done it before, just really, really getting into the Jeep scene then.
And I think too is you have a lot of people that own capable rigs. We're talking specifically Jeep right here, but they don't know, they're nervous to go take it anywhere. And a stock Jeep is extremely capable. Being able to, if you will, kind of recruit people and allow them to join the group here and feel comfortable, know they're going to be taken care of and looking out for. And obviously a lot of these rigs are probably daily drivers, especially when you get into like new off-roaders. It's not a project vehicle generally, it's probably their daily driver. And having a group like yourself, like with Zombie Krawlers, to be able to go to as resource and get out there. And it's more than just wheeling. I mean, you're getting out and seeing nature and seeing areas you wouldn't probably see just driving down the highway.
Oh yeah, we probably 95% of our group, the active ones here local, they're all daily driver stuff. So we make sure that we do stuff that nobody's gonna tear up their stuff. If they do, we make sure we get them home one way or the other. Whether we have to take them home, haul their Jeep home, wherever we need to do, so they'll have a good time. And we always want have a good time them to come back out and join us on the next event. So it's just in this past year, we did some food drives with the local car scene. We brought in almost 2,000 pounds of food for local food banks. Did a toy drive that supported the Lexington Fire Department's toy drive during Christmas. Then probably our biggest event that we did this year, it was a kind of a spur of the moment charity ride for a member's, actually coworker's, not even a Jeep owner. He come to us and asked if we could help this fellow out. The father had lost his son suddenly and didn't have the funds and stuff for the funeral and everything. So everybody pitched in, and we had a couple good sponsors. One of the sponsors was where we like to ride is Hollywood Park. They pitched in a good donation. We had some good raffle prizes from local businesses. So we raised quite a bit of money to help him out.
That's amazing. And I think that's what makes the more family oriented, off-road clubs. Just it's a very positive thing because of that sense of community. There's someone within that community that needs assistance. Calling up one of these clubs is one of those areas that you can resource from. And because you're also diverse too, there's a lot of people with different skills. They know different, companies, brands, different resources. It is amazing what you can find in a club. It's not this cookie cutter image of just one type of person, one type of profession, just dynamic group of people that kind of just get together because they have a common interest. And I love that. Being able to give that back to the community and the community can resource is amazing. That's pretty awesome what you guys do, man. I'm pretty humbled by just hearing that. So is there an event that you and your club look forward to each year?
Not offhand. We try to do the spring Tri-Community Fire Department in the Zoe area of Kentucky. They do a spring clean every year. That is one of it. We try to get a bunch of Jeepers, a bunch of the club members to come to pick up as much trash and stuff on all the trails, whether it's public land, private land as well. We do like it. And there's also the Southern Four-Wheel Drive Association does our fall meet and greet in November in the Daniel Boone area, in the Red River Gorge area. So we always try to get people join up for it.
Right. That's some beautiful area up there, man.
Oh yeah, it's some of the best riding. I've never been out west of Moab or anything like that, but you come to the Red River Gorge area. I mean, there's stuff a stock Jeep can do, and there's stuff that a fully built Jeeps are only can handle. So it's got a little bit for everybody.
So speaking like out that area, I mean, are there any hunters, fishers in your group?
Oh yeah, there's quite a few hunters. I'm a hunter myself, a hunter and a fisherman.
Right on.
Actually, a couple of guys, they left the car show today, and they was going out to the range to sling a little lead today. So as far as your hunting season, how's it going? It was a bad year for me this year. I did not get a deer at all this year.
Did you see any?
Did not see any. Where we hunt at, me and my father and my son and my brother all hunt in the same area, or on the same farm. And it was just been they moved really early on during bow season because my son killed a nice buck during bow season, or early in bow season. Then gun season come along, and it's just they just left.
I went out only a few times specifically for whitetail. I will say this: every time I went out, I saw one. I just didn't seal the deal, and variety of different conditions and whatnot. That some of it I kind of shared, but I will tell you this: I am definitely more prepared for next year.
Yeah, I wasn't as prepared this year as I should have been. I didn't get my feeder set up in time, and usually I try to feed most of the year. I didn't get it done in time. The Jeep life took over a little bit more than my hunting life did this year, so we've had so much going on with the club. So
yeah, you guys are really active, and it's tough to find that balance, if you will. I have no doubt you'll get there. You've taken a lot of leadership roles within that club to get them where they're at right now. So, I mean, I know most of the listeners may not be aware of it, but if you guys follow Zombie Crawlers out on Instagram, you'll see all these amazing things Byron's talking about. So what about overlanding? As far as the club as a whole, individuals, any interest in that or some serious traveling or camping?
There is quite a few members that do they're into overlanding, and there's actually some. We're mainly a Jeep club, but we do let a few Toyotas and stuff in. So we have a couple guys with Toyota Land Cruisers and FJs that are really big into overlanding, and we've got some with Cherokees and even JKUs that love overlanding.
Heck yeah! Are they the Cherokee XJ or the box ones?
The XJs that we got. XJ and a couple guys with the WJs.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I had an XJ, man. Love that thing. I'm thinking about getting another one day. I really do. I'm on the fence with that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. What about, right now, are you doing any type of work on your rig? Anything? What about maintenance?
I just did what I call my pre-winter maintenance. I changed I changed motor oil filter, changed front and rear axle grease, then grease everything, grease all the control arms, and check the transfer case fluid, transmission grease, checked everything out, just kind of the winter maintenance, because we're kind of in the downtime of riding. Right now, it's just been so wet around here. We try to, we always do tread lightly. We don't want to, don't want to hurt the ground, unless we haven't been out actually on a ride in almost 2 months since the 1st of November. So we were kind of really at downtime as a group for a whole. So
yeah, out here, our season in North Carolina kind of ends like December-ish, and then it picks back up about the last week of March. So that whole 3-month period is pretty much downtime. I mean, there are areas you could go to. There's private parks you could go to. For me, I'm big in the Uwharrie area and stuff, so it does really turn into my downtime. What about any big plans for the club itself this year? Things you might be doing, newer recruitment, or different events you might attend?
Actually, we did get approved this year on a couple items. We got we're the second off-road club that we know of in the state of Kentucky that's a 501(c) nonprofit.
Nice. So
we're gonna have to do a little bit of change into our membership. Right now, membership is free. So we're still working out some bylaws and the guidelines for membership and what entails membership once you pay the fee, which we want to keep the fee as small as possible. We don't want to, we don't even want to charge a fee, but being 501(c), we have to. So we're going to try to do a couple more fundraisers. We've got a couple local, one local charity that's a foster home that will do a fundraiser for them in the fall. They just diapers, wipes, a lot of baby supply stuff.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of I think sometimes the tendency is to try and get with a bigger cause that is a little popular, but those smaller ones are just as important.
Oh yeah, we don't mind at all to help a national organization out, like Mission 22, but we want to try to keep a lot of the money local.
Yes,
because it seems like, when you tell people money staying local, it seems like more people want to help out than they do like a big national organization, because they see so many people, other organizations, other people are advertising for them and trying to get donations. So if any member, we always tell all the members, if you have somebody needs help, whether it's an individual or another nonprofit, they need help, let us know. We'll see what we can do with them. So
I totally seen the same thing when you're talking about, whereas you want to try and support something local versus something on a national level, there is a tendency to get a little bit more support, if you will, specifically toward that cause. Well, far as you yourself, and as your club grows and all your adventures, where can we find you? Where can people follow you? Kind of learn more about your story.
The best way to follow me will just be on my Instagram. I think I do more posting on it. That's why on a personal level is the Instagram is foolish_habit_LJ. That's really my main form. And then, of course, my Facebook page is under my regular name, Byron Roberts. It's just my regular page.
We'll make sure to put your Instagram definitely in the show notes. And everyone, I'm telling you, definitely want to follow him. He always has these hashtags, and he really works his social media pretty well, and he keeps it lively. He has a great response from his followers, who are very interactive as well. So it's a very fun Instagram page to follow. Well, Byron, thank you so much for joining us, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for everything you do for the Route 16 brand as well. And let us know wherever we can assist.
I sure will. And for the listeners, if they want to check out Zombie Crawlers, Zombie Crawlers is the Instagram name, but on Facebook, we are Zombie Crawlers Jeep Club. And our Facebook group is really more active than our Instagram page is. But just there's 3 questions on there that you need to answer. They want to join the group, and that's it. And the main Facebook group is open to anybody, any state, any country.
Well, that's awesome. That's good to know there. I'll make sure that gets in the show notes as well. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. All right, brother, you take care.
All right, sure will. Thank you for having me on.
Since 1989, Tuffy Security Products has been the industry leader in automotive security. Tuffy has a variety of vehicle-specific consoles, drawers, and lockboxes. Tuffy manufactures adventure-ready organization and security for your Jeep, truck, or SUV. Visit TuffyProducts.com and use special offer code GRIND to save 10% on your order. The Cup of Joe segment is brought to you by C-State Coffee. Have you ever actually drank good coffee? Stop wasting your money on old, stale coffee from the store and make the switch to C-State Coffee. C-State Coffee is a United States Marine Corps veteran-owned and operated roastery, selling premium coffee that's roasted on order and delivered fresh to you. Order your coffee today at www.cstatecoffee.com.
Chuck, what a great show, man. Another one. Double interview, lots of great information.
Yeah, dude, the guests are great. The Uptree guys were awesome. Really. I mean, you could tell they have fun. They are just enjoying the heck out of life out there, taking in everything that Colorado has to offer.
Their content is great. Their videos, their images, they're so on point. I mean, and again, I'm so glad we actually found them just through interaction on social media. So when we say we want the audience more involved in our show, these guys were audience. And then we connected, and then we were, chatting back and forth. And then Chuck was able to get with them and do a couple interviews. Just this one worked out a little bit better. But I tell you what, I just enjoyed everything they shared, and that really is what we're trying to be, is that community. Just like Byron and his Jeep Club, Zombie Crawlers, in Kentucky, they do a lot of things, extremely active.
Yeah, no, they that whole, like I brought it up before, the Jeep community with the club activities and stuff, that's awesome. The one good thing about the Zombie Crawlers is they don't discriminate. More than just Jeeps, man.
Yeah, he said that. That's right. They might be a Jeep club, but they welcome anybody. Some really great guests. And I love the Uptree guys when they were talking about, elk hunting like we talk about deer hunting. Like there's, and just the whole walk up stuff. Like, yeah, that stuff don't happen, man.
Yeah.
I might have to reach out to them. I got a buddy that lives in Monument, Colorado. Yeah, it's not that far away from Fort Collins, if you will. Yeah, I might have to start talking to those guys about maybe an elk hunt or something, man. I was already looking at stuff on Colorado for getting tags, man. They will
100% open the doors and take you wherever you want to go for sure. They like I said, I talked to them the week before. I talked to them a little bit after the fact. They want to get out here. They're really interested in the bears. They kept talking about how crazy it was that I could kill so many deer here in North Carolina with $40 for a resident tag and everything. They are some solid guys. We could reach out to them. We could for sure go and hunt with them.
Heck yeah, out fishing, all that. And they said it right. It's like the fact he was fishing downtown. Like you see this image, the guy's ice fish, and you're thinking he's off the grid somewhere. No, I'm downtown.
Yep.
That is awesome. They're absolutely just outdoorsmen in every aspect of it. And yeah, it'd be great to link up with those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to have them back on for sure. I'm going to let them get some turkeys under their belt, and then we'll reach back out to them after the spring's wrapped up.
Chuck, we need to get some turkeys under our belt, dude.
Oh, it's going down. I'm looking forward to it already.
Yeah. Probably not going to happen this weekend, but in probably sometime February, I'm going to get the shotgun out and start putting up the targets and getting my mindset right. I might work on those calls now. I kind of do owe that to you. I think next time I'll do some calls, man. I didn't do any calls last time. I was like, I ain't going to do that. Chuck will do that.
Yeah.
I'll do it, man.
And realistically, it's not, you don't really have to be good at calling. You don't have to sound like a turkey to call in a turkey, if that makes sense. You just got to get relatively close. But I think it's more knowing when to call,
right,
what bird to call at, than it is the sound. And you got to have the cadence down,
right,
as well. But yeah, knowing what bird's going to be responsive. I used to trot off into the woods, and if a turkey gobbled, he was getting called at. And if I didn't see him, I just assumed I had done something wrong. But realistically, odds are a lot of turkeys I called at, nobody was going to call in that situation,
right,
whatever the situation was. Now it's. I think that's one thing that's really changed in my success, is knowing what bird is just ready to put on a show and ready to come into those calls.
I'm going to focus this year just on the slate and the box call. I'm not going to do the diaphragms. I'm not even going to mess with those this year. I'm going to focus on those two. And you know what? We'll see where it takes me.
Realistically, that's all you need.
Yep.
I mean, once they come in, you're good.
So I'm ready. I want some wild turkey, man. Not just the drink.
Thank you all for joining us. Remember, if you have an idea, or maybe you'd like to contribute to one of our segments, all you have to do is go to route16.com and select contact and let us know your idea. That's ROOTONESIX.com/contact.
Thanks for listening to the Route 16 Grind. We want to thank our amazing sponsors, Warren Industries, Tuffy Security Products, Sea State Coffee, and Route 16 Off-Road for their support. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and more. Just look for Route 16. That's ROOTONESIX. Or just go to route16.com. Until next week, plan smart, be safe, and as always, be prepared.